Aaliyah, rest in peace to left eye, Michael Jackson, I see you, just as soon as I die, she knows, she knows.
I own half of Sony's publishing and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me.
And in that lawsuit, we learned that his head of security while he's running this blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson died.
Better known as Aaliyah by Kathy Ian Doley, a source is claiming that Aaliyah was hesitant to get on the plane the day of the plane crash. The source says that Aaliyah was given a sleeping pill and carried onto the plane unconscious before the fatal crash happened in the Bahamas.
When Tupac passed, I realized there were a lot of selfish people in this world.
Okay, y'all, we need to talk about the wildest viral theory connecting J. Cole's song She Knows to the deaths of Aaliyah, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, and even the king of pop, Michael Jackson. I'm talking about the dark side of the music industry, sacrifices, conspiracies, and how this all ties back to Diddy. And yeah, it sounds crazy, but the internet has been buzzing about this for a minute now. And honestly, when it comes to Hollywood and the music industry, none of this is surprising anymore. So let's start with the track that's at the center of this whole theory, J. Cole's song She Knows from his 2013 album Born Sinner. Now, if you've heard the song, on the surface, it's about a guy cheating on his girl, right? But some fans are reading between the lines and connecting the lyrics to a bigger, darker message. So why this song? Why is She Knows suddenly trending all over social media with fans drawing connections to some of the biggest stars who passed away under mysterious circumstances? Well, the theory goes that J. Cole might have been trying to spill the tea about some shady things going down in the music industry, especially involving Diddy. Now, here's where things get deep. So you probably heard that this idea that certain celebrities' deaths were industry sacrifices, which basically means that these artists were taken out for darker purposes. Well, some folks believe that Diddy and his mentor have been at the center of a lot of this, and some iconic artists like Aaliyah, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, and Michael Jackson are all connected to this story. People are pointing out that Aaliyah, Left Eye, and MJ all died on the 25th of the month. Aaliyah on August 25th, Lisa Left Eye on April 25th, and MJ on June 5th. And it's not just these three artists. Other celebrities who have also passed away on the 25th include James Brown, Farrah Fawcett, and George Michael. Now, of course, it could be just a coincidence, but many fans believe this might be a symbolic date for some kind of ritual or sacrifice. Now, where does Diddy fit into all this? Well, there's been a lot of talk over the years about Diddy's connection to Aaliyah, as well as other artists who passed away under strange circumstances. And some theorists are claiming that J. Cole's song is actually a subtle shot at Diddy, suggesting that Diddy might have been involved in these alleged sacrifices to maintain his position at the top of the music industry. Okay, so let's first break down the lyrics of She Knows and see how people are connecting it to these industry deaths. So the key line that fans are pointing to is she knows, she knows, she knows. Some fans believe that this is J. Cole's way of hinting that someone, maybe even Beyonce, knows the truth about what her and Jay-Z's longtime friend Diddy have been involved in all these years. And then J. Cole actually name drops Aaliyah, Left Eye Lopes, and MJ rapping. Only bad thing about a star is they burn up. Rest in peace to Aaliyah, rest in peace to Left Eye, Michael Jackson. I'll see you just as soon as I die. So let's dive into the tragic deaths of these artists and talk about why so many people think they were industry sacrifices. Okay, starting with Aaliyah. Her death in 2001 shook the entire world. She was only 22 years old when she died in a suspicious plane crash in the Bahamas after filming her music video for Rock the Boat. They later claimed the plane crashed because it was overloaded, but many people have questioned why Aaliyah was even on that plane to begin with. And the sketchy part is that Aaliyah wasn't even conscious when she boarded that plane. She actually refused to go and complained of a headache. But then someone from her team gave her some pill that knocked her out, and they literally carried her on that plane. And according to her ex-Dame Dash, when Aaliyah saw the plane she was supposed to fly in from Miami to the Bahamas, she immediately felt something was off. But that's not all. Dame also revealed that Lenny Kravitz, who has family in the Bahamas, offered Aaliyah his private jet, but Hype Williams took it from her.
When she actually saw the plane, she, we had the Blackberries, and she said, "I don't like this plane." And I was like, "Well, don't get on it." And she was like, "Well, I got to because I got work to do." She got on the plane, and she always had a very serious fear of planes in general. So she had to overcome a fear to get on that plane on the way there. But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
Ask him.
But I also am asking you.
Yeah, but ask him.
Now, if you're wondering what Diddy has to do with Aaliyah's death, well, according to Jaguar Wright, Diddy was the one who helped Jay-Z get rid of Aaliyah. Now, we know that Diddy has been spiking people's drinks at his parties for decades, and he apparently had access to all types of substances that regular folks don't even know about. Well, according to Jaguar Wright, when Jay-Z became obsessed with Aaliyah, he started clienteling with Diddy and asked him to invite Aaliyah to one of his parties so that he could make a move on her.
Camaraderie with honeycombs and AKA Diddy. And
why do you give him the honeycombs? Why do you give him honeycombs?
Because he smacks so sweet. Sodomite.
But see, Aaliyah wasn't feeling Jay-Z, and instead, she started dating Dame Dash. And according to Jaguar, Jay's ego could not handle it. He quickly changed his focus from Aaliyah to Beyonce, but he apparently still wanted revenge, and with Beyonce allegedly being jealous of Aaliyah, word on the street is that they both agreed Aaliyah should be eliminated.
I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. Like, I don't give a if you wanted to get away from your homie, if you wanted to get away from your partner, but to do it the way he did it, it's malicious. But maybe that was because he was a girl that didn't want you.
Oh.
And now Jaguar Wright is back with some bombshells alleging that Jay-Z enlisted Hype Williams to help get Aaliyah on that plane.
It's time to talk Hype. It's time for the public to ask you why Aaliyah couldn't get on Lenny Kravitz's plane. And you had to put her on that clown car plane. Who asked you to say that? And do yourself a favor before you make any statements. Please remember, I was out a little X, your apprentice. I know a lot more about you than you think I do, Hype. It's time for us to stop putting with the truth. It is time for Aaliyah Dana Houghton's death to be properly investigated.
And according to Jaguar, Jay-Z masterminded Aaliyah's demise to punish her for picking Dame Dash over him and also to make way for Beyonce.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened.
Now remember that bizarre interview with Mary J. Blige where she called Aaliyah's death a spiritual murder?
I just know that was a, you know what I'm saying, that was a spiritual, know it or not, because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying, whether people know it or not, you know.
Well, Jaguar Wright is now saying that Mary made this comment because she knew all about Jay-Z and Diddy's sinister plan to take Aaliyah out. And according to Jaguar, the reason Mary never said anything is because Diddy has a lot of dirt on Mary that he used to blackmail her.
Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone.
Okay, now let's turn to Lisa Left Eye. In 2002, Lisa died in a car crash while she was on a spiritual retreat in Honduras. And what's creepy about Lisa Left Eye's death is that just days before, she had been involved in another car accident that a young boy. And some fans believe this was a sign of something bigger happening behind the scenes.
I have premonitions.
Dreams. I think it's the energy in the air.
There were times I just thought I was gonna die.
So some insiders have noticed some spooky similarities between Left Eye's passing and Aaliyah's tragic death in that plane crash on August 25th, 2001, just 1 year before Lisa's accident. And get this, Hype Williams, the same man who was one of the last ones to see Aaliyah alive, was also close to Lisa. He even tagged along with her on one of her trips to Honduras in 2001. So fans have definitely been giving Hype Williams the side eye lately because both Aaliyah and Lisa spent some of their last days with him. And if that's not enough, there are also reports swirling about Hype's connections to Diddy and those freak-off parties. What's also interesting is that Lisa was very close with Tupac, who, as you all know, was Diddy's sworn enemy back in the day. Tupac's sister Sequia even said that Tupac and Lisa had a real brother-sister bond. But hold up, there's more to this story. Turns out, TLC had a pretty messy feud with Arista Records and Diddy's mentor, and things got so bad that TLC actually had a plan to hold him hostage to get the royalty money they were owed. So according to T-Boz, Lisa was the one who masterminded the whole plan. But Diddy found out and ended up snitching on them.
The record company, we held them hostage like shebang. Yeah, it was like that. Because,
wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Bullets.
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with, we gonna drive up there, we gonna take the guns. And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Puffy, mind your damn business. Okay, go ahead, Sugar.
Finally, let's talk about Michael Jackson, because the official narrative about the way he died never really made sense. So remember that lawsuit from producer Lil Rod where he alleged that Diddy's criminal enterprise was financed and enabled by some powerful people in the music industry? Well, in that same lawsuit, Lil Rod named Diddy's head of security Fahim Muhammad and claimed that Fahim's connections in law enforcement helped Diddy cover up his crimes. The lawsuit states, Mr. Combs made it clear that his head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. Mr. Combs instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad if they are ever pulled over by the police in Miami or California. The lawsuit also alleged that Diddy's powerful industry friends employed and empowered Fahim to pay off law enforcement. Now here's where things get even crazier. So Fahim Muhammad wasn't just anyone. He was actually Michael Jackson's head of security, and he was there the night MJ tragically passed away. And get this, during Dr. Conrad Murray's trial, Fahim testified that he was hired as MJ's chief of security just 10 months before MJ died.
At that point in time, how long had you worked security for Mr. Jackson?
Approximately 10 months.
And what were your responsibilities?
I was the chief of his security, so my responsibilities ranged from making sure his house was protected, making sure his children were protected, and making sure his day-to-day activities and movement was all safe and planned and mapped out.
But are you ready for the wildest part of this whole situation? So it turns out that Fahim had just finished college with a business degree when he got hired as MJ's head of security. And get this, he was only 20 or 21 at the time. We are really supposed to believe that the king of pop trusted a 20-year-old with zero experience to run his security team? Well, according to independent journalist Ian Carroll, someone else might have hired Fahim on MJ's behalf, and they allegedly had a specific task for Fahim.
For most of Jackson's career, his head of security was Bill Bray, who was his mentor and basically his father. And the two were extremely close. Bill ran his security until he was 70 when he retired, and Jackson continued to pay his medical bills until he died at age 80. But then once Bill retired, Jackson was then protected by other security people that came and went, and he wound up with this guy who has direct connections to Diddy's blackmail operations, who was directly complicit in covering up crimes for Diddy and covering up use. This is the guy that was protecting Michael Jackson the day that he died. The day that he was overdosed on after he was probably already asleep, and the only witnesses, there were no witnesses to the crime. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this guy never got checked into as a suspect.
And then Ian also pointed out that Fahim might have had some shady ties to intelligence agencies. And now fans are saying that he could be one of those celebrity handlers. You know, kind of like what Kanye West hinted at when he called out his ex-trainer, Harley Pasternak, who threatened to send him back to Zombieland.
I was looking up Fahim, and where did I find another article about him? On Penn State, the Wharton School. He didn't attend it as a student. He was invited as a speaker for this Wharton real estate entrepreneurship event, which makes perfect sense. He has a real estate investment company or whatever, but if you've been following along, you would know that the Wharton School comes up an awful lot when we're talking about intelligence agencies and people associated with the CIA and the FBI, etc. Just thought it was interesting that they invited him to be a honored speaker at their event. And now, here's the best part. Check this out. This is in all of his bios, by the way, but we're pointing it out now. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Okay? Do you realize what's wrong with that yet? Anything coming to mind? When did Michael Jackson die? June 25th, 2009. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose, caused by his doctor apparently. Hold up, hold the phone, pause. Why is a dude who just graduated college last year with a business and real estate degree the head of security for the king of pop, for Michael Jackson, the most famous musician of all time?
So with all these connections, people are now looking at J. Cole's song as more than just a personal story, and some believe he's actually talking about the industry and these rumored sacrifices of legendary artists. But what's your take on all this? Was J. Cole really trying to warn us about something? Are these deaths all connected, or is it just another wild conspiracy theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss out on this next video.